All right, we're here for another school closure check-in, and we're here with Mr. Murphy, our Fox Hill Library Media Specialist, and his wife, Amy. So it's hard to believe. I was looking at the calendar to count it out myself. Like, this is the fourth full week coming up of the school closure. Can you believe that?
I know it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're doing our Fox Hill parade tomorrow morning, so I'm looking forward to seeing my colleagues there again because it's been a while. We've been on a lot of calls, but nothing kind of beats that face-to-face interaction. So glad I'm gonna get to see people tomorrow morning from at least 6 feet away.
Yeah, it's awesome. I saw some pictures of the Francis Wyman parade, and honestly, to me, it like gives me like goosebumps to see people lining up on the side of the road for parades of teachers. I think that's the way things should be, honestly. My mother was a teacher. I got into education because I really love educators, and to see that like is just the way things should be. But
Yeah, it's absolutely outstanding.
I was going to ask, the first question typically is, what's your routine been like? How have you been managing in this new normal or our current normal? I was talking to one of the counselors and they said, don't call it the new normal, call it our current normal.
Yeah, that's a nice way to.
What's the current normal been like for you two?
Just trying to get into a routine. So Amy's at MIT, so she's been working actually a few days longer than we've been away from school. So I think it's just really important. We're kind of getting up at the same time. I'm on a lot of calls with the ed team and other school calls from home. Just making sure every day we're getting out for a walk and fresh air, kind of keep perspective. And then, of course, I guess we've got our time too to follow our pursuits. They're just reading, catching up, playing an instrument at home, cook at home.
I've been doing a lot of baking.
Yeah. And just try to keep that structure. I think it's just important to keep a structure.
Yeah. Amy, is your job one that would typically go into an office as well, and now you're finding yourself working from home?
Yeah, my usual schedule is 9 to 5 in the office. We do summer courses that are in person. Right now, we're starting to brainstorm on my team how to move that to a virtual thing. So it's a really interesting time for MIT.
Yeah, for everyone, for sure. So what about, you mentioned playing instruments and baking more. Anything else you've picked up, things that, now that you have a little more time and we're going to have another month of this at least, things that you might have picked up that you didn't have time for previously?
Well, I've been working on knitting, which
Okay.
I've wanted to pick up, and I dabbled a little bit. My grandmother, she's just about to be 93, was very impressed that I was picking up knitting, and especially as kind of a dinner activity or watching a movie, can zone out and just kind of do my stitches.
That's great. What about you,
Yeah.
Amy? Anything new with this extra time?
Sort of. I've done some embroidery here and there, sort of similar to knitting, so I'm able to start a new project. I'm also a writer, so I need to get going on my second draft of my first novel. So
that's awesome.
just a matter of building it into the daily routine, but I'm hoping to get back to that really soon.
That's great. And I say we have extra time. Yeah.
Try to pack on a little bit further with running at the outside, and especially now it's getting to be spring too.
Yeah, that's great. So I know I said extra time, but it's like I find these days to like take a lot out of me as well. So I think just trying to get done what we need to get done with the new parameters we have in place can take a lot out of you. So if people are saying I haven't done anything new yet, I think just finding your way and getting into some type of rhythm is a lot.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what about staying connected? You mentioned you have the parade tomorrow, and we've had this long hiatus where we haven't really seen our colleagues, our friends, our family. What have you been doing to stay connected with people during the last few weeks?
Well, I've been working with my esteemed colleague Sheffer a lot, just making sure that people at Fox Hill, not only at Fox Hill, she's been doing the Hangouts, and I've been on those calls district-wide to help out our colleagues with Seesaw. A lot of check-ins with Dennis and the EdTech team, and then also my the BEA board, and then of course my fellow colleagues at the other elementary schools and Renee, and we've been generating some content for the choice boards, doing some read alouds and putting videos together, and so have Kathy and Rachel and Megan. Jen and I are making sure to check in with teachers, make sure everything with Seesaw is going well, and then going in through Seesaw and making sure we're connecting with the kids as well, leaving them feedback. They've been doing some really cool projects at home, and actually it's been funny because I was talking to Jen the other day, and we had a few STEM classes in Seesaw set up, and the kids have actually started doing the STEM projects, but they're for Seesaw classes that they were in last year or the year before. They're actually going, some of the fourth graders are actually going back into the second grade STEM Seesaw classroom and doing those kind of activities there. So that's really cool to see, and it's a nice way to connect with the kids while we're away.
That is neat. That is neat. What about you, Amy? Staying connected with people like that you usually interact with?
Yeah, so my team at work, we've been having daily check-ins actually every morning, which is really nice to, set up the day to check in and see what everybody's up to. Other than that, we've been trying to do some Zoom calls with friends and family when we can, when everybody's up to it, doing some online trivia and other games like that to try to, stay connected and stay entertained. I'm also doing some virtual workouts with friends.
Oh, wow.
So that's been really interesting, but that's also an excuse to see everybody's face and
it's great.
Yeah,
it's important that people stay connected, especially now. So that's great. So the last kind of question I've been asking people is just sources of gratitude, because I know as the days get longer and we may see more kind of terrible things out in the real world based on the virus, depending on what happens. And it's important, I think, that we look for the positives. So any sources of gratitude for you the last few weeks, either one of you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, personally, I'm just very grateful that we are doing well and our family and friends are healthy. But I've also and our colleagues at in Burlington. But I've also got a tremendous amount of gratitude for anyone that's on the front lines right now. So any healthcare workers, people working in grocery stores, our postal workers, and for scientists that are trying to solve this problem. I really think science is what's going to help us get through this. So anyone who is putting themselves at risk for the greater good, I have just an eternal amount of gratitude for.
Yeah, I think if we look for the good news, there's so many sources of it. So I definitely agree with all of those that you said. Amy, anything you want to add?
I think just to reiterate, just feeling so grateful that we have our health and that our families are well and we're able to stay in touch with our families. Being able to stay connected is also something that maybe not everybody has access to. So
yeah, I agree. Well, I'm grateful, honestly, that you took the time tonight to connect with me. At the end of my days, this has been my routine to do a check-in with someone. So thank you. It was great to meet Amy, who I wouldn't have met otherwise. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm glad to see you're both doing well. And I hope we get to see each other in person soon.
Yeah, I took the cue from Mark Sullivan to get the whole family involved.
No, it's great. It's so great. To get to meet some new people. That's a bonus. So
yeah,
I wish you both health and stay well while we're getting through this, and I hope to see you again soon.
All right, you as well. Keep being well, stay safe, and hope to see you in person very soon.
All right, thanks again.
All right. Take care. Have a good night, Patrick.
Bye.